Hi, welcome to All Things Possible. I'm Kris Barney and I'm thrilled to have you here with me on this episode. Today we're going to be talking about your success begins when your fear ends. And I'm excited to really jump into this and talk to you about how you can be more successful in your life, how you can feel better about all the things you're doing and accomplishing and have more confidence as you get past this fear that can be so controlling and stop us from being all that we can be. Before I jump into all the content, I really want to invite you, if you haven't joined our community, and to join the community right here on the screen, allthingspossible.biz. We love having you with us. We love being able to provide content and value for you. So join us, jump on the website, get your free gifts, and be part of our community so that every week when we put out a new episode and we give you free content and opportunities for you as our community, that you can jump on board and that you can take and glean from those things and really value being part of this community. So jump on board if you haven't and join us. So let's get started on this. There is so much to cover in this that I'm probably just going to give a tip of the iceberg here for you, but I want you to really embrace and know of all that goes on with fear. When we allow fear to get in our way, your strength and courage and even your confidence will come by embracing your fear. I'm going to tell you a quick story about just yesterday. I had the opportunity to go to a women's retreat. It was an overnight stay in a beautiful cabin in an absolutely majestic spot in the mountains. The trees were just starting to change colors and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And one of the things that we did is we got up and we were having yoga. We had a yoga instructor that's done it for years that was there, and I've never done yoga. So I've been athletic all my life and I've done a lot of exercise, but I just have never, ever done yoga. I'd never even seen yoga other than pictures of yoga. My daughter loves yoga and does yoga, but it's just something that's never really come across I gotta do this. And all of the ladies were going to participate. I'd never done it. We were given an opportunity that we could go for a walk, which is very comfortable and easy for me, right? And walk in the mountains, something I love, or read a book, or join them for yoga, which was out on a deck, overlooking this just absolutely phenomenal view of the mountains and watching these colors and the trees change. I live in Utah and it was a couple hours from my home. I live in the mountains, so I have this all the time, but it was just this opportunity to be something different. And as the morning started, I was feeling this fear of like, oh, I have never done it. I'm going to look like a fool. What will they think? Because right after that, I get to speak, right? And I was just starting to let it just kind of brew. I have some shoulder issues from playing sports as a high schooler, and it was, I knew yoga took lots of arms and shoulder movements. I just was allowing fear to just start all this chatter in my head and really start making me not want to do it. Making me want to choose out of having this opportunity rather than embracing it and really moving forward with it. Fear can look like a lot of things, right? Fear can look like being self-conscious, being insecure, unqualified, or maybe not have enough education, right? Lack the education of what it is, not know. We can worry about judgment. We can worry about what other people think, which really doesn't matter, and it's none of our business, and that's a whole nother episode. But it allows us to get all this stress and anxiety. My heart rate went up, and I started sweating of like, okay, wow, this is dumb. Like I should just jump in and do it. Do you know, not even consciously, it has been fear that has never allowed me to do yoga. What I can tell you is I did it. And yes, I looked like a fool. There was several people that were very accomplished in yoga, and I wasn't. But what I can tell you is I have tender spots all over my body today and realized this might be the best form of exercise for me as I'm nurturing my body back to good health, and as I get, stretching and strengthening exercises, I've never done it. And I've never felt I was scared to, but I know there was a fear of what I would look like, how people would perceive it, and seriously, I teach on this. It was amazing to just let go and do it. Now, yoga is a simple little thing. I don't want you to think, oh, well, big deal, you did yoga, right? Because there's a lot of other things, and I've done a lot of things that we'll talk about in a second. But fear was given to us to avoid danger. And yoga wasn't going to be dangerous, right? And when we were given that fear, it is there for a very, very specific purpose of us to avoid danger, or to know that there's danger and to protect us, right? Yet sometimes when we feel the danger and we feel like, oh, it's not exactly like I think it's supposed to look, it allows, the fear allows it to stop us, right? Fear can stop you or propel you forward. That's it. It can stop you in your progression or propel you forward. I can tell you it will probably set you back as well. Okay? If I would have not done yoga, I would have set myself back from the opportunity and not having another chance to do yoga, not taking the opportunity that is right there in front of me, right? So I want you to think about that. Fear can stop you or propel you, as well as your success begins where your fear ends, right? And you can even say when your fear ends. Those are sayings I say all the time, and that I teach on, and I work with clients with. And one of the things that, I told you about yoga, but one of the things that I do all the time is public speaking. Do you know that public speaking is the biggest fear? If people were to vote, you go look up all the documentation and all of the different things that have been done on this. Public speaking is the number one fear, even higher than death is public speaking. And I didn't ever want to be a public speaker. I didn't ever think that's what I'm going to grow up and be, right? And I grew up and became an empty nester, and now I'm a public speaker. One of the biggest fears that people have is public speaking. And yet, one of the greatest discoveries you can have is when you allow yourself to push through the fear and feel the power of that you can do anything. When I push through the fear of public speaking, it's allowed me to open these doors of not only who I hang out with and what kind of things I get to do and the opportunities I have to travel and to do all these fantastic fun things, but it also allows me to meet all these people and to assist others to get through some tough things, to share leadership and communication traits and to put it out there, right? But I had to go push through. I had to discover that pushing through the fear would be the most powerful thing for me. And I've done several things. You can do all kinds of things to push through your fear. I did a ropes course in, 2004 probably. I got through cancer with a child. Okay, that was a huge fear. We had fear every day of, will he live? Will this work? There's those kinds of fears. I've done a zip line in, I want to say Puerto Vallarta. It was a cruise, and it was one of the highest zip lines that they have out there, and we went across water. It was amazing. My whole family did it, and we did the zip lines back and forth, and my daughter was too light, so the videographer hooked his legs with her, and he went with her, so the whole video is my family, the 6 of us. We went on this cruise, my kids, right before they were getting ready to leave home, right, and had this fantastic time. But there can be a fear element that will allow us to not do it, right, and to stop, and yet it was exhilarating to be able to do some of these things. I know I felt fear as a real estate investor, putting it on the line, putting it out there. I felt fear, starting a new business. Really, there's anything that you have out there, from, taking a yoga class to starting a business to walking on fire. I went to Tony Robbins' Embrace, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but I went to a Tony Robbins event, Unleashing the Power Within. Sorry, I got it there. And I was in a boot. I'd had surgery on my foot. I had hardware poking out the end of my toe. And according to their rules, I was not eligible to participate because I had this surgery, and I had to sign all these papers and say, I am not listening to you and I am not taking your advice and I'm doing it anyway. And it would have been super easy, and I was very tempted not to do it. But as 6,000 people prepared to walk across fire, I decided I am doing this. I am going to unleash the power within me and go out and do this. And I did it. Yeah, the wire hooked a coal, and the only place I got burnt was the end of my toe where that coal stayed the whole time. But I did it. And it gave me this power and exhilaration that if I can walk on fire, what else can I do, right? I want you to think about it. You don't have to walk on fire to be phenomenal, to be powerful and successful. I know thousands of people who have not walked on fire. I know hundreds who have. And those hundreds who have been, other speakers, other leaders, other people really pushing forward in their life. Find what is pushing you with fear, that you can push through and become more powerful and empower yourself to move forward. Now, not everybody needs to walk on fire. Not everybody needs to do a zip line. Not everybody is going to go through cancer or the death of a loved one. Well, everybody will do that. And it's going to come whether you fear it or not. Your own death will come whether you fear it or not, right? It's going to happen. But fear can stop you or propel you. And again, your success begins where your fear ends. Where's that line in the sand for you? Where can you step over that threshold? Is it doing a yoga class? Is it attending an empowerment weekend? What is it for you? Because it's probably not public speaking, and it's probably not a yoga class. What is it for you? What do you fear? What is holding you back? Underneath your fears are unbelievable opportunities. When you find your courage and find your confidence and you find your power, you can create your ideal life and you can triumph over the fear. There is no reason to get caught up and not be successful, not take yourself to the next level, wherever that is. Where is your level now and where could you be? So for my birthday this last year, I asked for a gift card or an IOU gift certificate so that somewhere this year I could choose what I wanted. I was very busy, a lot of speaking obligations. We had some trips and stuff in there. There was just a lot going on. And I was like, I really don't know what I want for my birthday. So for my husband, I just said, I want an IOU. And he said, okay, that's awesome. And I'm like, I know that at some point there's going to be something I want, but right now I just can't give you any ideas or suggestions, and there's just too much going on, right? And the day after, or a couple of days after, he said, I have figured out your IOU. And I'm like, no, wait a minute, an IOU? You owe me, right? So I get a pick. But he said, no, just listen to me. I know that this has not been something that you ever have wanted to do, and I don't know if it's something that you fear to do, but I think it would be huge for you to do this. He says, I think you should go skydiving. I was like, what? Why would I go skydiving? Why would I jump out of a perfectly working, functioning plane? Why? And he just laughed. And why would you walk on fire? Why would you go on a zip line? And he's like, I just think it's a really great thing for you to do. I think it's something that you could embrace. This is not something I've ever wanted to do. I haven't said, I want to jump out of a plane. I have never really been fascinated by it. I can't even say that I've ever really feared it. Because when he said it, I was like, I don't know that I'm really feeling fear. I just have never wanted to do it. So I was like, why would I do it? And the more I let this brew, so the first thing I did is put it on Facebook, and I took a picture of someone else pushing someone out of the plane, and I'm like, so for my IOU that I got for my birthday last week, this is what my husband wants to do. He wants to push me out of a plane for an IOU. And I made a joke of it and made it, lighthearted and fun. And the more it has set in, now this is, I'm speaking to you in September. My birthday was in April. And we've had a huge summer and a lot of stuff going on. And the more it's gone on, the more I've thought, you know what, why not jump out of a plane? Why not go skydive? Why not experience things that we haven't done? Why not go forward? Why allow fear and uncertainty and self-consciousness and anxiety and stress and all of these other things stop us? We don't always see things as fear, right? We don't always go, oh, I'm afraid. We go, well, I don't really want to. Why would I? Right? So I'm like, there has to be some level of fear, and I'm sure when I'm in the plane, I will feel fear. I'm sure I'm going to be like, ah! I'll probably feel like I did on the ropes course, on this big pole, this big tree. It was about this big around, and you climbed up, and it was, I don't know, it was high. I don't know how many feet it was in the air, and you got up and jumped off of it. There was some fear. You're in a harness, it's safe. Yep, there was some fear. And I know as I get in that plane and we're flying and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. There'll be a whole story and I'm sure you'll hear it, but it's going to be something that pushes up that fear. Why not? Embrace it and go, hey, let's go do this. And when he said it, I'm like, I think I'm going to pick where we're going to go do this. Like, you can take me to Hawaii, let me jump out of a plane, right? And we've had some fun on picking a location and how that looks. And what I can tell you is there is a plan this fall for me to jump out of a plane, and I will let you know how that goes. But I want you to think about, where is the fear for you? Where could you push forward? Where could you make the decision and take action and do it different? When I decided that I was going to be a public speaker, what I can tell you is every time you go in front of an audience, there is a level of fear. It just happens. People are judgmental. Everyone has their cell phone. You go on stage, and even if it's an audience of 200 people have an opinion of you. 200 people could be posting this anywhere on social media. And what's funny is even the social media that I'm not a part of or a big contributor on, it's still out there, right? People still know you. In fact, last night I went to my high school class reunion, and even though this ages me, it was my 35-year class reunion. And before I got there, there's always that, oh my gosh, what's everybody going to look like and how's this going to be? I love to go to the reunion. I love to see everybody. I love to be part of it. And I can't say that I really felt like there was any fear at all. But there is that little anxiety of like, am I going to remember people's names? There's that part of it. And as I was there and I was having such a great time talking to people and seeing people, and even an old boyfriend that we were very serious in a relationship. So there was some of that, right? Especially because for me, there's different levels of success. There's different levels of how you feel about yourself and how you look, right? And so we worry. And the whole time we're worried about what other people might think or their judgment or how this is going to look, right? And as we were there, and again, having a fantastic time seeing people and just enjoying hearing how their life's gone, what they're doing now, and we had pilots and school teachers and all kinds of amazing people. We've got one in technology that does phenomenal things, and there's just so much going on. People making a difference and being successful and having grandchildren and all these things, right? Family, and yet as we're there and I'm walking around with someone else as we're doing a Facebook Live, and I'm putting the camera in front of every single person for them to say hi to the Facebook Live so everybody could see them. I had people running and hiding from me. Now, don't be confused. I did not let any of them get away with it. I found them, I caught them on camera and made them speak anyway. But that fear, what's it allowing you to do? Are you hiding from what's next in your life? Are you not taking advantage of the opportunities? What I'd like to remind you of is that your success begins where your fear ends. And fear can look like so many things. Fear can stop you or propel you. Don't let your fear stop you. Triumph over the fear. Find out where that fear is. Find out where you can get outside of the box and be more successful. Thanks for joining me today. Again, Kris at All Things Possible we love having you join our community. Bill and I both, my husband and I, have been in business for many years and had this, we love to be able to give you content and materials. I hope this has been something that really lives for you and that you will go deeper into yourself and find, what am I fearing? What's my next step? How can I move forward? No matter where you are, you can always go forward. And if you're not progressing forward or even have the intention to go forward, you're going backwards because you will not stay still. You're either moving forward or you're falling back. And that is up to you to make the decision, take action, and be more successful. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again right here next time. Bye-bye.